What the H? What's the bigger deal? The Vols getting swept by Kentucky or the Lady Vols finally beating UConn? What say you? And I'll go ahead and set that up on the YouTube poll question. But what say you first, Caleb?
I think the Lady Vols beating UConn is actually a bigger deal. I think for women's basketball, there are still stepping stone regular season games that define you, kind of like in football. Whereas I think now basketball, particularly this year in the SEC, it's such a marathon that it doesn't really matter if you get swept by a team or something like that. If you're just doing what you need to do to make sure you have a high seed in the NCAA tournament and you go where you want to go. I think the Lady Vols beating UConn. Look, and you weren't on the show last week, David. I just want to give you a bit of history real quick. The last time that Tennessee beat UConn was 2007. Then Pat Summitt cancels the series and Tennessee goes on to win back-to-back national titles. What happens in the time frame between that win and Tennessee's win over UConn here? Pat Summitt tragically gets dementia and passes away. UConn goes on a historic run where they win 6 national titles over the next 13 years or whatever, over the next 9 years, I believe. They win 6 national titles over the next 9 years after Tennessee's last one, including 4 straight with Maya Moore, Breanna Stewart. They have multiple undefeated seasons. Gino Auriemma clearly supplants himself as the king, queen, the head of women's college basketball. And it's just sickening for Tennessee fans to see. Tennessee revives the series with UConn, but with under Holly Warlick. Kelly Harper takes over it. They still can't beat UConn, even as UConn falls off. This game meant a lot to a lot of Lady Vol fans. And it felt like they were unleashing 16 years of frustration about what things that had been happening to the program when they beat UConn last week.
Okay, here we go. I got my newest sound effect. You're absolutely wrong. I mean, Kentucky just got rid of a Hall of Fame coach and replaced him with a guy that you had to be a Kentucky basketball fan to know. And Tennessee lost to them twice, and they had this incredible incoming talent that was supposed to be magnificent and replace some guy named Dalton Connect. No, I'm sorry. It's not even close.
No, there's no meaningful single game in men's college basketball anymore. Okay, so
why is there not one in women's? I think you're living 20 years ago.
No, because women's basketball is still not as much of a marathon. It is to a certain degree a sprint because you get to see how good, one game tip-off in a women's basketball game is still very indicative of who's the better team. Men's college basketball is such a marathon. You almost got to treat men's college basketball, Dave, like the NBA regular season at this point. And I mean, that's where it's headed. Do you think? Let's go to the Shaq Kobe years with the Lakers when Shaq was unstoppable. I think there were 2 years.
Google me.
I think there were 2 years where the Lakers got swept by the Spurs during the regular season. Dave, do you think they cared that they got swept by the Spurs during the regular season? Or were they like, oh, I mean, who cares? Shaq's going to absolutely eat David Robinson's lunch in the postseason and he won't be able to do anything. So,
okay, no. That's fair. But let me ask you this. Do you think Tennessee's confidence is shaken by losing to Kentucky twice, a team that, yes, is going to be in the tournament, but you really should have beaten at least once.
Should have beaten them the first time. I don't think their confidence is shaken. I think they know that Kentucky got red hot both times. Tennessee just happened to be unlucky shooting the ball this time. The first time, I would have been concerned. I'm still not concerned about last night's loss from Tennessee's perspective. The UConn win means something. The UConn win means something significantly to this program in women's basketball, given what it had gone through over the course of the last 17 years. And UConn, I mean, we're talking about, Dave, okay, first of all, I don't know if you know this, Gino Auriemma called, when you were off last week, did you know Gino Auriemma called Tennessee and UConn fans stupid for taking the rivalry seriously? As if he didn't take the rivalry seriously back in the day.
Oh, yeah.
And we're talking about a head coach in Gino Auriemma. Let's remember this now. The year Pat Summitt was dying, thought it would be funny to throw salt in the wound to Candace Parker, who was depressed over that. So he left her off the Olympic team because he was mad that she didn't commit to him at UConn in 2004.
Boy, Caleb really dislikes Gino Auriemma.
He is a terrible human being. Like, I'm sorry. Like, that's sick. That's twisted. And it also is, he's such just an awful person in general. And I'm like, and I even defended his recruiting tactics with ESPN. I actually sided with him over Pat Summitt, but he was an awful person. You keep sharing the one that says, "Can't believe I'm agreeing with Caleb."
No, I'm working with new equipment, Caleb.
And that too, Adam's right. Kim Caldwell beating Gino in her first try is huge. And here's the big part. Not just beating Gino, out coaching Gino in the last 5 minutes, out coaching the supposed greatest coach in women's basketball history, who doesn't look like the greatest coach in women's basketball history right now.
Oh, listen, he's not even close to the greatest basketball coach in history. And I'll tell you why, because the men's budget in basketball and in that area of the country, it supported women's basketball. So it's like, why not win? Why not win at a high level? They had money thrown at it. Pat Summitt had to build something, and then eventually it was supported. So no, he's not even. I'm not going to pretend. Well, I'll go ahead and say top 5 right now. How about Mulkey, Summitt, Staley,
Auriemma, obviously, yeah, and then.
Well, no, I'm trying to leave out Auriemma.
Tara Vanderveer, the Stanford coach, who's got 3 national titles. Yeah. I'm with you. I would take all 4 of them, and look, after watching over the weekend, we might be talking about Kim Caldwell in this conversation soon. I mean, she coached circles around Gino in the last 5 minutes of that game. And Gino's substitutions, it was just baffling. I've never seen anything like that before and how bad he was at it. So
stuff. All right. He's Caleb Calhoun. I'm Dave Hooker. Caleb's got a child issue to go to attend to. By the way, how old is your young one?
He is 8 months. He is 8 months old.
No, he was 9 months last month.
No, you're getting your dates. You're getting your
No, you got your dates wrong.
No, I've never said 9 months. You misheard me.
No, you said 9 months because I remember that's the exact time that the pregnancy was.
No, never said it. You dreamed it.
Okay. All right. There we go. Todd says, "Sorry, Caleb, didn't."
I know. I love your comment, Todd. I love your comment. No. Don't feel bad. Don't feel bad. I'm a fan of your comment. Like I don't care when people disagree with me all the time, and I love it when people who disagree with me mostly do agree with me at some points. So don't feel bad.
That's most gratifying. Like when I told people that Dooley and Butch were idiots early in their careers, everybody said, "No, you're an idiot." But I think I proved to be the lesser idiot.
Butch Jones went 9-4 in back-to-back years at Tennessee, and that's something that had never been done in history, according to him.
According to him, how did he?
No, in 2017, right before SEC Media Days, after underwhelming and not winning the East, he said, "We did some things here that haven't been done in a really, really, really long time. Back-to-back top 25 seasons." I'm like, define really, really long, Butch.
It's like 10 years.